So I thought it'd be good to get a temperature check on the 10th anniversary, and what better way than to take the biggest content creator for the game, a post he's made saying, I will say, 10th anniversary does seem like it has the most fighting in the Dokkan community I can remember seeing, lol. The 2022 Cooler Worldwide Download Celebration was also really bad because of the Carnival introduction, and obviously New Year's 2022 was bad, Ultimate Gohan and Orange Piccolo. All of these celebrations that he mentioned are linked. This is the truth, of course, and I think that's going to pile into my point, which is I think a lot of the negativity comes from the sync. And you might be wondering, like, oh, but I was told it was going to be Halcyon and everything was going to be sunshine and roses once the game synced. But let's be honest, most of us don't speak Japanese. If you do, or if you follow someone in Japan like Goresh, he'll usually mention when the Dokkan player base that is Japanese has a problem with something like the Namek LR EZAs. And I guess thirdly, because global is the biggest community just by the nature of it being in several land masses, several continents rolled into one, it is far more active in its positivity and it's far more active in its negativity. We've seen many screenshots of people posting like, why is the Dokkan community so negative? And then right after they'll post like, these units suck, by the way. And it's sort of in line with the values of the Dokkan community essentially, which is if you are a big account, quote unquote, you're usually around like the 1 to 2,000 follower range. Some people are at 8 or 10k. People like Anni, Platy, very well known on Twitter, Rhodey, etc. And this isn't to call any of them out, but pretty negative. I mean, yappers, right? Like we see their opinions thrown every which way all the time. Same with DaTruth. If DaTruth says a character's bad, then it incites a huge outrage, and that'll be what the conversation is about for the entire week, if not longer. And this is just to say that, this was always going to happen. The sync was never going to fix this, but I guess what we can at least do is check the temperature, like I said, on the 10th anniversary. If you've made it this far already, tell me what has your experience been with the 10th anniversary now that we're essentially through part 2. We're going to be heading into part 3 next week, so how does it look for you? I will say, I'm going to say my opinion up top of the 10th anniversary, just so we have it as like a grounding board so that, I feel consistent in how I feel right now. More content than ever, more content that's actually like runnable than ever, if that's a thing, like more content that I actually would want to run. The Formidable Battle stages are a breath of fresh air. The game needed a different type of hard content, but it didn't need it to be Yuzamasu, where it's just a red zone, essentially a one phase fight because the second phase was so dog shit. So yeah, Formidable Battle, even more so than Gogeta and Vegito, are the best thing to come out of the 10th anniversary so far. I will say that. Because one thing I always said is that I actually don't care about getting the characters early in the sync. The thing I cared the most about is actually having the stages, which is why it was so funny where they delayed Goku and Frieza for essentially like 6 to 7 months or something. I can't remember how long it was, but they just delayed it for global. And that was the actual worst part of waiting on the sync, is just them moving around the Tanabata stages, right? So yeah, more stages than ever that are great, and I think that contributes to my positive feelings. The art direction in the LRs, whether you think Vegeta and Goku and Frieza's animations are lackluster, is probably higher than it's ever been, considering a lot of it is sort of like OC work, it's original work. Some of the rehashes, like Gohan's Father-Son Kamehameha, like Gohan firing the Kamehameha into the air, that stuff looks great. There are just small tidbits I wish were different, like no tears flowing up from Gohan's face while he's transforming into Super Saiyan 2. It's kind of like, I don't know. I feel like that shot's pretty iconic. They do a great job of it. If you've never seen the transformation done really well, look up Super Saiyan 2 Gohan Kakarot from that game. Because even though that game was kind of like mid, one thing they did well was the transformation segments. So there's that. Character choices in terms of representation are kind of lackluster. I'm not saying Vegito is bad. I'm not saying Gogeta is bad. I'm not saying Super Saiyan 2 Gohan is bad. I pulled for all of them. But 2 Tournament of Power characters, and for them to both be the worst of the bunch, feels really negative. It casts a shadow And because it casts a shadow, you have to remember that the most important things that come out of Anniversary are the characters every single time. Every single time we go into a major celebration, people remember it for the characters. It's like when you talk about Worldwide Download Celebration at the time last year, people are like, but the characters are so good, right? That's what people care about the most, right? But you have to remember, we were essentially fighting old content on Global for 3 extra months or some shit. Like, we didn't get Goku and Frieza for a while, so people remember the characters, but the thing I remember the most about this celebration currently is that how good the content has been, as well as how good the high ends of characters have been. So I guess we can get into the actual like meet the community reaction portion. So we have Playmaker saying this is what happens with the syncing. JP players never had so many complaints. By the way, like I said, JP players complain, but we're not in JP's ear. You know, Google translating every single time a JP player makes a post, right? Like, the most we'll hear of it is Goresh, and even then, I will say that the I'm sure it is less. I'd just imagine culturally it is less, but that doesn't really change the fact that there are complaints, right? So, Worldwide Celebration 2022 still top 3 celebrations in Dokkan history. If you disagree, just blatant bias. Something like 10th anniversary, 9th anniversary, cooler Worldwide Download Celebration. I would assume that this part is particularly egregious for people because we're in the moment right now, so people's emotions are very fresh. But I think as we roll out of the 10th anniversary, the thing we'll remember is how good the high ends were. So Gogeta, Vegito, and Super Saiyan, and GT Goku and Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. And then we'll remember how good the content's been. And that's to say that we haven't even gotten the hardest fight in the game yet. But hey, maybe the hardest fight in the game is so toxic we flip these around and people just have no fun with it, right? But I don't think that's going to be the case. The fights have been pretty good so far. I'm link leveling at 34-39 now. Expectations, yeah, here's Splatty. Here's Rody, as people I mentioned. So expectations is a big one. It's the 10th anniversary. I said it before. My expectations for the 10th anniversary is Dokkan gave you 1,000 stones off for it. My expectations for the 10th anniversary is Dokkan gave you more tickets off for it. My expectations for the 10th anniversary is Dokkan made better content off for it. And I think they've delivered on some of those, mainly the content and the tickets being split up. Pretty nice. The banners were better than ever. They were just amazing. Like Beast and Broly being available, and then Tech Broly being available on the Carnival. Amazing banners. It's going to be hard to get better banners going forward, just because like they're all so powerful right now, right? So I feel like the amount of fighting is a testament to how many things Dokkan has messed up during the anniversary. If the player base is spending more time arguing about if units were made good enough or not during what should be the biggest celebration, then they messed up. This is a fair enough complaint, right? But we do have to temperature check, like I said. Yesterday I posted a video. If you haven't seen it, that's fine. But I posted a video just taking this character through the current hardest fight in the game. And I always say that the fights are going to get harder, not easier. So in a week's time, in 2 weeks' time, it might be kind of irrelevant. But currently, they can do it. And they can do it without Vegito and Gogeta, which is my bar. Because if you take Vegito and Gogeta into any single event, you will win. They essentially nullify the entire game. Like, nothing matters if you use those characters. They're just too strong. And I think that's fine. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh my goodness, like, they make the game boring like people did with Beast. I will just say that Gogeta and Vegito do simplify the game to such a point that if you're trying to showcase other characters, you're not actually showcasing them. You're not showcasing Frieza by putting him on this team. You're not showcasing Vegeta by putting him on this team. You know what I mean? So that is my only thing. I don't feel this way about Gohan, Go Frieza, or GT Goku, mostly because they are obviously a much larger step below them. But if you have 2 of either of these characters on any given team, you're not actually showcasing a third character. You're showcasing that Gogeta and Vegito gap the game and there's no content that can challenge them. Right? So we'll see if that's the case when, this unit and, this unit start taking a lot of damage or something. But for now, you're just showing me how good Gogeta and Vegito are. So it is one of those things where I think Do I think that Frieza and Vegeta are so egregious as to like ruin the anniversary for me? No, I think the ones that kind of sour the anniversary for me are characters like, damn it, Goku being so underrated or underwhelming. I've said it before, and this is just personal bias. This character got me to play Dokkan. I wasn't playing Dokkan before I saw this character's animations, and when I did, I was like, "Yo, this character is sick." And I was coming from a game like Epic 7, where you can essentially use anyone you want. If you're a waifu player, if you're a husbando player, you can use whoever you want in Epic 7, and because you have gear, you can get them there. Doesn't matter who it is. When I came into this game, this character was already bad. He was unusable. You couldn't even do like super battle roads. So I was very like, oh. So, you know, it was whatever. So a long time EZA for me rendered essentially void because I'm only taking him to be the reason I lose, which is fine-ish. But the reason I feel deflated when I think about this character isn't because he can't do it now. It's because in a week, will he be anything at all? You know what I mean? Like, will he be even able to play the game in a week? Which is a crazy thing to think for a character who is a worldwide download celebration LR being EZA during the 10th anniversary. We got Jumbo Shark saying, really, what are people fighting about? One of these bad boys EZA drop, people will sing a different tune. This is very true. I've said it over and over again. Dokkan Battle Fate. I said it over and over again, but I am not too worried about these characters. Some people are like, oh my god, you know, what if somehow by some you know, stretch they actually fumble the the gods and fours? What if it happens? You know, what if over and over, what if it happens? What if they're the ones that get fumbled? And I don't think it's gonna happen. I think their kits are just too strong, personally. So we have this character dodging already, right? This is just gonna get boosted to like great chance, and they're gonna dodge for like 70% of the time or something. Chance of evading up. They're just gonna dodge like infinitely. They already have critical hits. They already have effective against all types. Like, you go here. Guards all attacks for 1 turn. Effective against all types. Already have crit built in. Like, you go here. Again. Guards for 1 turn. This character actually could be the one that's, you know, markedly worse because he's not dodging, but you know, I doubt that's going to be the case anyway. But yeah, guards for 1 turn. You fuse after. You know, damage reduction for every rainbow key sphere. It's probably gonna get boosted. He's gonna have flat damage reduction probably. He disables enemy actions. He blah 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 blah. High chance of countering when you receive a super attack. You know what I mean? I think Janemba, the tech Janemba, didn't he get changed so that he's like guaranteed to do this as well? I could see him being guaranteed to do. Oh no, it's the Boo, it's the Kid Boo. I could see him being guaranteed to counter or nullify on the turn he comes out no matter what. Maybe he's probably gonna have a scouter. If he doesn't have a scouter, everyone else has a fucking scouter this celebration. Yeah, I think they'll be fine. If you're like worrying about this, I personally wouldn't. Expectations were rightfully sky high and some fumbles were made, so it was a perfect recipe for some chaos. This is the real mess, is that Dokkan Twitter just likes to exaggerate. You know, we're all a little hyperbolic. We're all a little antsy. You know, we're going through, you know, some people are getting shafted. Some people are using all of their stones saved up for the year to pull on these characters, not getting them at the last moment. You know, not everyone's me got really lucky, right? So we can take stock just looking at the screen. Janemba and Boo are amazing. Cell's amazing. This Int Gohan is pretty good. Or amazing. I actually haven't tested him enough, but pretty good for my like glance. Gohan, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan feels really good. I hear a lot of contention about this character. A lot of people saying this character is like super, or rather easy A tech Broly. However, he's worse because he doesn't do as much damage. No. Right now, the reason this character, even though he doesn't do as much like explosive damage, is better, is because this character will not fraud you out as much. And maybe he will in a week, but he won't fraud you out as much right now. There's no turn where this character will fraud you as much as untransformed Tech Broly, or even transformed Tech Broly. lock and killed, lock and killed, lock and killed. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. Tech Broly, EZA Tech Broly is a little bit of a fish. And I said before that there are types of characters like that 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 just kind of annoy me. I guess the easiest way would be to go here. There are characters like that just kind of annoy me, and if you enjoy them, I'm not saying that it's like your fault or anything. It's just like, for me, it is annoying. It is an annoying facet of the game when my new character just loses me the run consistently, and it's characters like this, right? Where he's fine, like, he'll take normals, he'll do a bunch of damage, he'll do biggest attack stats, he'll support and stuff, but sometimes he will just die, and you can't do anything about that. And when he does, it's like a time sink. I'm like, fuck, man, I just did all that. So it is one of those things where I've seen people talk about, like Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, for example, and like undervalue the fact that at least he won't just fucking die on you. And I don't know, I guess that's missing for some people. I'd rather have a character that's more solid defensively, because bosses have too much HP right now. So like, say we click here and we go into Goku's store, go to the hardest fight in the game currently, Rival Frieza. Heck, Broly's not killing this guy. Like, he has 65% damage reduction, 450 million HP, 230,000 defense. Like, he needs to be attacked a bunch to get lowered. It's not like he's just gonna explode this guy, you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. And if he can't just kill him in one turn, then I don't want to be sitting there, like, being, like, as a you know, risk for the team, especially going into whatever the next fight's gonna be. But yeah, really good. GT Goku's good. He's not here, but he's good. The Vegito was okay. Gogeta was good. Frieza is good. And also very healthy for the game, because we need a Frieza celebration. Right? Wicked Bloodline needs help. We have this cooler coming up on an EZA, and we have this cooler coming up on an EZA, so yeah, I think the interesting part is actually, as you look at this, it's better than you'd expect how people talk about it, just like blandly, I guess, like just blatantly. Beerus is good. Really no fighting when Frieza just dies. Hey, I took him to the hardest event and he didn't. I was told this wouldn't happen, now that the sync happened. Yeah, a lot of the people who were like, it's gonna get so much better once the sync happened and we're all synced up, is so funny. Because, like, really? You fell for that? You thought global Dokkan would stop complaining because there's a sync? Bring that motherfucker to the kitchen. No sync in this house is gonna stop them. 9th anniversary seems to be the best. I see a lot of people sharing this sentiment, and I mean, I don't know, like, is this a problem really? Like, I think it's one of those things where it's like, everyone expected default for the 10th anniversary to be the best, but 9th anniversary is really fucking good, man. 10th Anni is great, but there are a couple things that would change. I've never seen anniversary release units that aren't even that necessary to complete the hard content that releases along them. 7th, 8th, and 9 made it feel like you needed the new units. This is true. And hey, maybe you could say that the best characters in the game are just so well made that this is actually like a good thing. Characters like, you know, Beast Gohan or not Cellmax, but Tech Broly and Int Broly and stuff are still hanging around, but I mean, some people just want that fucking blitz power. And I'm one of those people. I don't want my anniversary units to be weak. For now, Global 9th Anni, 10th Anni, 4-wide download celebration. The nail to fumble ratio for units is really bad this time around, and the way they chose to schedule content sucks compared to past celebrations. I think this is wrong. This is wrong. The rest of this is fine. This is literally wrong, I think. The worldwide download celebration literally didn't have anything to do. And in the same way, for the 9th anniversary, we were fighting Gogeta for a while. Or like Beast and Gogeta for a while, right? Like, fine. Easy to understand considering the wonky kits of 67% of the units and how they are not even remotely close to as good as they should have been. They should all be dominant top 5 contenders, yet they aren't. When was the last time an anniversary headlining LR wasn't even top 10? You know, I see the Vipes going up a lot. In truth. Truth's streams and chats, calling him a big dummy, but I mean, this is fair, right? If I was to put together a list of the top 10 characters in the game right now, like, Vegeta's not making it. Frieza's not making, right? Because it'd be something like Vegeta Vegito sharing number one for me personally. Heck, probably, or Beast, either of them. So that's like 2, 3. All right. Yeah, 2, 3. Yeah, either or. Maybe who's the fourth? I haven't really sat down and thought of like who are the strongest LRs in the game right now. The fourth might be Goku or Int Broly. Both of these characters seem extremely useful, so maybe that's like 4, 5. Gotenks and AGL Goku, like 6, 7, something like that. Yeah, I guess so. Like, how do I find room for Vegeta and Frieza, especially because the game is desperate for slot 1s right now. Desperate. If you look at like the list of characters here, there are no slot 1s available until like transformations happen, outside of Namek Goku and Namek Frieza, who are sketchy. Whereas like you literally can't build a tier list. You know, people always say slot 1, who's your slot 1, slot 1, slot 1. Well, does Jiren come back? Is Jiren back in the top 10? He's super consistent in his like standby. But like characters like the Tech UI and characters like AGL UI right here are extremely necessary to get some of these teams off the ground. Tech UI stocks are crazy because he just locks down like slot 1 a few times a fight, and that's enough. You know, like just one time every fight, he just completely locks it down, or 1 to 2 times when he actually uses the domain, right? Like, it feels like they're necessary, and I feel like I can't get Vegeta and Go Frieza onto that list, onto that top 10, when like they don't really provide any of that, and they don't really excel in any way. Content-wise, it's great. As for these days units, I feel like they could have done better with their kits. This is true. Got a Vegeta Defender. It's just expectations. I expect more event and mission-wise, not even for Drift Dragon Stones. Super Easy A only gives 3 stones. It's a sync we waited years, so it's justified. It feels like last Anni. Definitely with some lackluster. He's not a good unit at all. I think the content's been really... Maybe I'm tripping, though. Maybe I'm crazy. Y'all can tell me. Oh, Anni likes niche. I like niche characters. This is true, dude. I love niche characters. Someone help me. I just enjoy the game, man, but my other fellow global players only know how to complain. This is how I feel, actually. But I don't think you're wrong for complaining. There are things that could definitely be better. I'm not sitting here and being like, there's nothing to complain about. Not true. I say this sync is the reason the community is in its worst state right now. No more waiting for 6 months to make opinions people had 6 months ago. But hey, it's also making the community more active in general and helping out small YouTubers. Hey, oh, I'm one of those. Yeah, I think we got the temperature. I'm just gonna say 10th anniversary. I would personally say, because I did play 9th anniversary during its launch. I played on a JP account, and it was really good. But the 10th anniversary's content has really romanced me in a way I can't really describe. I guess I can't really put into words how the content just feels better to do. The characters feel funner to put through the content. And I feel like I'm going to multiple stages instead of just to like Gogeta or Beast. So we'll see though. We'll see. Part 3 still waiting. EX still waiting. But you know, with all that being said, like if you like the video, subscribe to join the club. We all gonna make it, and peace, man.